learning to live. I worked every day. I saved every coin. I did not buy new clothes. I did not go on trips. I did not eat in restaurants. People said you should enjoy life, but I did not listen. I wanted to have more money. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to be ready for anything. So I worked harder. I saved more. My bank account grew, but my life stayed the same. My house was small. My car was old. My clothes were simple. I did not care. I thought one day I will have enough. One day I will rest. But that day never came. Every time I looked at my money, I thought, not yet. I need more. I watched others travel, eat good food, and buy nice things. But I told myself they are not careful. They do not think about the future. Then one evening, everything changed. I was driving home. The road was dark. The rain was heavy. My hands held, the wheel tight. I was careful, but then bright lights came fast. A loud sound, a strong hit. My car turned. My head hit something. My body felt pain. Everything went black. I woke up in a hospital. The room was white. The light was bright. My body hurt my arms, my legs, my chest. Everything was sore. A doctor stood near me. He said, "You are lucky. The accident was bad, but you will be fine." I looked at my hands. I moved my legs. I was alive, but I was afraid. What if I had died? What if I had no more time? What would happen to my money? What would happen to my plans? I lay in bed and thought. I had saved money, but I had never used it. I had worked hard, but I had never enjoyed life. I had waited. But for what? I thought about my days: wake up, work, save money, sleep again and again. No joy, no adventure, no memories. Only waiting. That night I made a decision. I did not want to wait anymore. I did not want to just save. I wanted to live. The hospital was quiet. I lay in bed and looked at the ceiling. My body still hurt, but my mind was awake. I thought about my life. I thought about all the years I had worked. I had spent so much time saving money. I had never taken a break. I had never traveled. I had never done anything fun. My days were always the same: work, eat, sleep, repeat. Now I was here in this bed, and I realized something. Money could not change this moment. My savings could not take away my pain. A nurse walked in. She smiled at me and said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I am okay." She checked my pulse and wrote something on a paper. "You are lucky," she said. "Many people do not survive bad accidents." Her words stayed in my mind. I was lucky. I was still alive. But what if I had not been? What if my life had ended that night? I had spent years saving, but for what? I had not lived. I had only waited. The doctor came later. He told me I needed to rest. He said I had no broken bones. But my body needed time to heal. I nodded, but my thoughts were far away. Rest. I never rested. I always worked. I always saved. But now, I could not work. I had to stop. I had to think. The accident had forced me to see the truth. My life was empty. I had spent my time collecting money, not moments. I had spent my days planning for a future I might never see. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about my life. I had missed so much. I had never seen the ocean. I had never climbed a mountain. I had never danced in the rain. I had never tried new food. I had never watched a sunset without thinking about work. I had been too busy saving for one day. But when was one day? When would I finally live? I did not know. Promised to myself when I left this hospital, I would change. I would not wait anymore. I would not live for money. I would live for life. I would travel. I would try new things. I would enjoy every moment. I would stop saying not yet, because life does not wait, and I did not want to wait anymore. The days in the hospital were long. I watched the clock. I listened to the sounds in the hall. I waited for the doctor. My body hurt, but my thoughts were clear. I thought about my life before the accident. I had been careful. I had been smart. I had saved money. But I had not lived. I had only worked. I had only waited. And for what? The nurse came in with my food. She smiled and said, "You are getting better." I nodded. She placed the tray on the table and left. I looked at the food. It was simple. Bread, soup, and tea. I picked up the spoon and took a bite. It was warm. It was good. I never noticed small things like this before. I was always too busy. I was always thinking about work. But now, I had time. And for the first time, I enjoyed a simple meal. Later the doctor came. He checked my wounds. He said, "You will go home soon." I nodded. Home, my small house, my old car, my quiet life. But now, everything felt different. I did not want to go back to the same routine. I did not want to sit at home and wait for the future. I wanted to change. But how? I did not know. That evening I looked out the window. The sun was setting. The sky was red and gold. It was beautiful. I had never watched a sunset like this before. I had always been too busy. I had always been working, but now I sat still. I watched the colors change. I felt the moment, and I smiled. The next day I stood up for the first time. My legs were weak, but I walked slowly. The nurse helped me. She said, "You are strong." I did not feel strong. I felt different. I felt new. I felt like a man who had been asleep for years and was now waking up. I did not want to waste another day. I wanted to live. That night I made a decision when I left the hospital. I would do something new. I would take a trip. I would go somewhere I had never been. I did not know where, I did not know how, but I knew one thing: I was done waiting. My life was just beginning. The day finally came. The doctor said, "You can go home." I packed my things. A nurse helped me to the door. She smiled and said, "Take care of yourself." I nodded. I stepped outside. The air was fresh, the sky was blue. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I was free. I was alive. I got into a taxi. The driver asked, "Home?" I paused. My home was small. It was quiet. It was the same as before, but I was not the same. I looked out the window. The city was busy. People walked fast. Cars moved quickly. Everyone had a place to go. I thought, where do I want to go? For the first time, I did not want to go home. I wanted something new. After breakfast, I decided to take a long walk. The streets were lively, filled with people going about their day. I passed small shops, colorful houses, and children playing by the roadside. Everything felt warm and full of life. I had spent years ignoring moments like this, always focused on saving and working. But now, I wanted to enjoy everything. I wanted to see, to hear, to feel. I reached the beach and sat down on the sand. The waves moved back and forth, endless and calm. I thought about my old life, the long hours at work, the quiet nights alone, the money saved but never spent. I had been so careful, so afraid of losing what I had, that I had forgotten to live. But life was not just about saving, it was about experiencing. And I was ready to experience more. Later that day, I met a man who owned a small boat. He offered to take me to a nearby island. I hesitated for a moment. Before this trip, I would have said no. I would have thought about the cost, about the risk, but now, I smiled and said yes. The boat moved gently over the water. The wind touched my face. I closed my eyes and felt it all. It was simple, but it was beautiful. On the island, I walked alone for a while. The sand was white, and the trees were tall and green. I picked up a small rock, smooth and round. I held it in my hand and thought about everything that had happened: the accident, the hospital, the decision to change. I had been given a second chance, and I was not going to waste it. As the sun began to set, I returned to town. I stopped at a small cafe and ordered a cup of tea. The owner, an old woman, smiled at me. "First time here?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes," I said, "but not the last." She laughed and poured my tea. "Good," she said. "Life is too short to stay in one place." I smiled. I understood that now. That night I sat by the ocean one last time. The stars above were bright. The waves were soft. I thought about the future. I had spent years saving for a life I never lived, but now I knew what I wanted. I wanted to see new places, meet new people, and collect memories, not just money. The next morning I packed my bag, but this time, I was not just going home. I was going forward into a life where I was not just working and waiting, a life where I was truly living. I took one last look at the ocean, then turned away, ready for whatever came next. This was not the end of my journey, it was only the beginning. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting stories. Take care, everyone.